As we return to my interview with filmmaker and writer Michael Moore, I spoke to him in Traverse City and asked him about the, well over $750 billion bailout of Wall Street and the banking industry.
Look, I don't call it a bailout. This is a robbery. They are looting the U.S. Treasury. I can't believe that they've gotten away with it so far. They, over the last 8 years, but really over the last 28 years, have operated in a manner, I don't know how quite to describe Wall Street, but just imagine a bunch of junkies just putting more junk into their system and constantly in some kind of feeding frenzy to get more of that junk. And it's like the U.S. Congress just decided to take a big hypodermic needle and give them another injection, a word they actually like to use, of the junk, of the heroin. I think that nothing has made me more upset other than the war in the last umpteen years. And I start to think about it and my brain starts to expand and the earpiece just flies out of my head.
Yet Obama supported it along with McCain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a couple feelings about that, or a couple thoughts or theories. And it has to do not just with Obama's vote on the bailout, but also some of his other campaign positions. But I'm hoping that he was figuring, well, look, we're just a few weeks away from the election. I'm not going to do anything to rock the boat at this moment, but come November 5th and certainly January 20th, I'm going to undo the damage that's been done here. So I'm gonna just put a little pin in that hope and tack it up on the board for right now. I'm also hoping that Senator Obama is, you know, like all politicians, you know, they don't always keep their campaign promises, right? I mean, it's not unusual. It's certainly not unexpected. They just don't always keep their campaign promises. So somehow I've told myself that those campaign promises that he will not keep are expanding the war in Afghanistan, pushing a health care plan that leaves the profit-making health insurance companies in charge of the plan, and you know, a number of other things that I think a lot of us are concerned about, but because obviously you're not ever going to agree 100% with any candidate on any particular thing. But I'm just convinced that these are the campaign promises that perhaps might you know, not get made or kept, I should say. So
wouldn't that really largely depend on what people demand and who he is surrounded by and who people demand he is surrounded by, if in fact he becomes president?
Well, that's why, yes, and that's why I think that a landslide in terms of the Congress, in terms of throwing out dozens of Republicans from Congress and from the House and from the Senate, if there is a huge outpouring on Tuesday, I think that'll send a very strong message. I'll give you an example of how I think this is going to play itself out. I don't agree with Senator Obama's health plan. It's not a single-payer universal health care plan. It doesn't cover everybody. It's not nonprofit. It still sends billions of dollars into the hands of insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies, et cetera. But there is a great bill in Congress that now has close to 100 co-sponsors. Almost half the Democrats in Congress support the John Conyers universal health care bill. So if we elect a large majority of Democrats on Tuesday, I believe that there's a good chance of that bill passing, and a President Obama, even though that isn't his plan, is not going to veto a bill passed by the Democrats in the Congress who want this passed. So, you know, I'm hoping I guess a lot for for us to have a long period of what people experienced when FDR was first elected in 1932.
What about the war in Afghanistan and Iraq? I mean, Senator Obama has been very clear. He was opposed to the war in Iraq. He really wants to see a surge, as he puts it, in Afghanistan, agreeing with McCain on that. What gives you hope? Why give him the benefit of the doubt that actually he would change his position once he came into office?
Well, I don't know if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm hoping that he breaks his campaign promise, like all politicians do. I'm counting on him to be a good politician and do that. As far as the war and his idea of expanding the war in Afghanistan, you know, I have Gorbachev's phone number. I could give it to him. He could call Gorbachev and ask him how that worked out for the Soviet Union. I don't have Genghis Khan's phone number or anybody else in the last 1,000+ years who have tried to invade that part of the world, conquer it, control it. Doesn't usually work out. And it isn't going to work out for us either. So we might as well forget it. It just isn't going to happen. No matter how many troops you send in there, it isn't going to happen. So I'm hoping that you know, that he's going to do the right thing here and realize that once he's in office and once he has the proper advice from people who know that just sending in more U.S. troops isn't going to take care of the problem. Now, the part that I agree with him on and have agreed with since 9/11 is that whoever is responsible for the murders of 3,000 people should be pursued and brought to justice. Absolutely. Of course, that's not what Bush did. But we all have to believe that anytime anybody attempts to or actually takes the lives of any of our citizens, it doesn't mean we start a war. It doesn't mean we go in aggressively and do a bunch of dumb stuff that doesn't get us anywhere. But it does mean identifying who the suspects are and going after them vigorously and bringing them to justice.